What's going on, family? How we been? I'm so interested to see everybody's responses to that wild announcement that we got today. But it's been a fairly quiet week, thankfully, after last week's massive 4-hour show last week. Um, Eager to get into it this week, though. It's been a nice steady time off. I've been off since technically since the last live show. I've not gone back to work, so it's been nice to get a little bit of time off. Since last Thursday night, I have done 4 full interviews, and I cannot wait for you guys to see these. It is going to be some really interesting ones. I am going to be talking about the first one at the end of the stream tonight, so eager for you to hear about that, get some feedback. See what we got going on. We got Eric here. Hello, Antoine. My friend Zach. Eager to get Zach back on the channel here soon. Mitchell, what's going on, buddy? Jeff, evening. Hope you're doing fairly well. I know it's been a hard week. Sardis, my friend. Glad to see you, Jesse. John, what's going on? Hope work isn't too rough tonight. Griff, my friend, you're here live. Hello. Terry, what's up? My sister is here. My sister did incredible on trivia this week, right? Right. I am so grateful that my sister allowed me to do all those videos with her. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Her punishment video for the trivia will be coming out on Monday. And let's just say it's pretty terrible. So hope you're interested to check that out. Funny enough, Jeff, it's not tax dollars. Most of my stuff is not appropriated funds. We're fee funded. Bren, what's up, Bren? Just caught up on the 4-hour stream last week. Now another one. Awesome. So glad you're here. Good to see you. What's up, Lissa? Oh, my other sister there. Nice. Hello, Heather. Hope you're doing decent and the new job is going well. Film Nut here from Sydney. Hello. Talking about some umbrella stuff tonight. That's exciting. Sorry about the trivia. I already had to mention it. Lissa said it was hilarious. And Jeff says you can win next time when we start talking about Taylor Swift, right? What's going on, Brian? And another Brian. What's up, guys? So, interesting week, like I said. Not a ton of stuff. But tonight, we are certainly going to be talking about that big one from today. Very interested in everybody's reactions, because there seems to be some weird discourse going around all over like film Twitter and the Criterion subreddit and everything today. So we'll talk about that. What's going on, Josephine? Some recent first-time watches. Stay tuned. King Ralph. Nice. Love me some John Goodman. Hearts and Souls. Ooh, Streets of Fire. That's a great one. Little Children, Little Man, What Now? Santa Sangre, a beautiful, beautiful film. I really hope people have seen Santa Sangre, and if not, check it out soon, because that, first of all, that Severin 4K is beautiful, but very interesting and like subversive film. Super surreal at points for sure. And Gleaming the Cube, classic. Hopefully we get a decent release of that here soon. I'm glad you're positive, Brian, because not everybody's acting that way. Certainly not everybody. We are going to go through all of this tonight and try to get as much off the ground as we possibly can. We do not have a lot to talk about, like I said last time. So hopefully we can, get through this without massive, 4-hour streams like last week. I am eager for everybody to hang out, though. So if you have any questions while we're hanging out tonight, go ahead, post them in the chat. We will discuss. And if anything comes up, you got any responses, just by all means, let me know. Let's talk about it, right? That's why we're here. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out tonight. Let's get into it. Oh, dang. Sean's here. What's going on, Sean? Glad you're here live. Let's see. Here we go. First one we got after last week's giant week of announcements was an interesting one. Dark Force announced that they are putting out their third 4K UHD release in Final Exam from 1981. This is one that's gotten quite a few Blu-ray releases, obviously, and all kinds of other attention throughout the year. So it's not surprising that they put this one out. This is a mainstay Code Red title for the most part, but it's nice to see it coming to 4K. Again, just got to be skeptical of what Dark Force can do with 4K because we haven't seen one yet. Let's get into some of the potentially more exciting ones for me. Kino Lorber putting out 2 Days in the Valley from 1996. This one just coming soon. We don't have a release date yet. I have completely missed this one. I've never seen this, but this cast, we got Terry Hatcher, Charlize Theron, James Spader, Jeff Daniels, Eric Stoltz, Danny Aiello, Keith Carradine. I think it's most of the big names. Lawrence Tierney's in it. Michael Jai White. There's so much of possible potential in this movie, and I would love to see this one just based off what it sounds. What it sounds like. It looks like something I'd love. I just don't know how I never saw it. 1996 though seems to be riding in the coattails of like Reservoir Dogs, the Tarantino era of the 90s, trying to get some good crime films out there, but looks decent. I'd definitely check it out. Kino Lorber is putting out Hustle from 1975 with Burt Reynolds. And this is coming from a 2K scan of the 35mm inner positive from Paramount, I believe. Another Burt Lancaster. They're putting out a lot of his stuff right now. We got Ernest Borgnine in this one as well. Another one I've not seen. I'm not a huge Burt Reynolds fan, so that's one reason for sure. But I don't know. I've been loving Ernest Borgnine lately. Everything, I feel like I've seen him in way more films than normal recently, so I'll keep that going. But this last weekend they did announce a 4K UHD coming of Needful Things from 1993, and I will state I think this is one of the most underrated Stephen King adaptations. First off, incredible performances from Max von Sydow. We got Ed Harris in this one as well, Amanda Plummer, JT Walsh. Bonnie Bedelia's in it, but this is basically a Max von Sydow powerhouse performance, and Ed Harris is great as well. But just killer film from 1993, one that most people don't talk about in the big grand scheme of Stephen King adaptations. And there is a lot of discourse on Stephen King stuff out there, so it's kind of odd that this one seems to get left out a little bit. Let me check out some comments. Let's see. Josephine, what other animated movies would you like to see added to Criterion? That's an interesting question, because honestly, there's not like... I honestly am past the point where Criterion needs... This is going to be a terrible reusing of the word, but there's not really a set criteria of them releasing something on Criterion. I think that they've kind of become a different company than they used to be, and they are vastly different than what their reputation is. So I think there's a lot of films that could deserve to be on like the old really great like innovative version of Criterion, but honestly I just want them all to get releases. I think that's the most important thing, is that we are able to grab on to every single film in history, restore it to the best possible extent, and allow people to be able to access that art. That's my biggest hope. Griff wants to know, anybody else get the Mondo Macabro pre-orders? The answer seems to be, hell yes, a lot of people have, because they are either sold out now or just about to be sold out of the entire bundle. And then shortly after that, so just in case you have not got the imprint stuff yet, right after the bundle goes out of print, Turkish Bathhouse, the single edition, will be going right along with it. And obviously, there's going to be retail versions of these later. But if you really want the limited editions, it's pretty much now or never, because they are not going to be there a whole lot longer. Jared did say earlier, I think it was on the Blu-ray.com forums, that this has been possibly their fastest selling bundle, which for Mondo Macabro, That's incredible. I'm really, really excited for that. Ice. Yes, just talked about Mondo Macabro. And then Film Nut. Speaking of Australian labels, what do you think of Imprint Films? This is going to sound like a setup, but I swear that this is true. I watched an Imprint film release today and a whole bunch of extras because I'm about to film a video on some of the Imprint film stuff. Genuinely, I think that they are one of the most exciting boutique labels going right now. I think that they have put out this reputation for themselves that shows that they're willing to track down and fight for the rights for things that have never been released before, and we need more of those. A lot of these companies are double dipping right now, and people are not happy with that at all. And Imprint is doing really great to put out stuff that doesn't have a ton of releases. They are quite often never even been released on HD anywhere in the world, and they're doing it in style. I mean, they're getting really nice releases of things like The Beast and let's see, The Wicker Man got an incredible release. The Dawn is Dead, the Osterman Weekend. They are going like balls to the wall on a lot of these. For the most part, I think that their packaging is pretty good. I do think that the whole using a standard case for every single disc is a little bit wasteful, and it takes up way too much space on the shelf, obviously. But I mean, I wouldn't give it up. They're incredible. I sincerely hope I can keep going with their stuff because they're fantastic. Film Nut says, cannot wait for Needful Things, especially as it includes the 3-hour TV version. Yes, the TV cut is not on 4K, which, yeah, that makes sense. I wish it was, but yeah. Favorite Ed Harris performance? Oh, geez. That is a great question. And not one really that he doesn't seem to get the attention from awards, and when we're looking back in the grand scheme of performances, I don't really think Ed Harris, but I might have to go The Truman Show just because I love that one so much. I'm not sure. Let's see. Mitchell says, my mother thought Needful Things was an evil book and ripped it up and threw it away. My mom did similar things with The Exorcist. My stepmom did similar things with The Exorcist. So, yeah, that checks out. Ooh, Zach says right up there with Night Flyer for underappreciated King adaptations. And Brand hasn't seen Needful Things since it came out. That time I remember it being a middle-of-the-road adaptation. Get someone to revisit. Exactly. Perfect timing with that 4K. Oh, absolutely. Jeff is spot on here. So a lot of people complain about remakes far too often, but this is a film that it was great. Nothing wrong with that. However, we have done a lot in the last 29 years since this came out, and a brand new version of Needful Things could possibly be incredible. I really, really hope that people are, paying attention and doing right by some of these. Let's see. Completely agree, Sardis. Sardis says Criterion has released a lot of films I don't think is deserving. Agreed. I could see Criterion doing some Bakshi, says Jeff. Yeah, that makes sense. Song of the South, I could see them doing that, but we have to see first what this even means. We'll get into that when we talk about Wally tonight, though. Video Man what's going on? Let's see. Mitchell says Mondo Macabro, one of my favorites. Loving all these comments right now. Oh, wow. Antoine says, Mondo Macabro just sold out. Bought it 15 minutes ago. Jeez. That's impressive. Max, you did not miss the Maximus Appreciation Talk. We'll get to the box set potentially in a little while. I would not be sad if that happened for sure. Brian says, Imprint getting things done, and they never slow down. They've done so many. Griff says, Imprint's really good. Sometimes the transfers aren't the best, but I appreciate the variety of titles. Well, the issue is most of the Imprint titles, they're not doing restorations in-house. They are getting the rights to a restoration that the studio already has. So even though it might look like it's Imprint putting out a lesser scan, it's the only thing that the studio is willing to license out. So honestly, even though the scan kind of sucks, I'd rather have a film with a lesser scan than never have that film out at all. So, yeah. Mitchell, this is the first thing I thought of, and I was going to bring it up in a little bit, but Fantasia in 4K, especially if they do a double feature with the Fantasia 2000, please, I would love to have that. By Fur, what's going on? Glad the Hobbit is here. Man, everybody loving Ed Harris too. Love that. Oh yeah, completely agree, Chester. I know he says I know this is cliche, but it's rare that King films are nearly as good as the books. I said he. I'm not sure if you are a he, but Chester says it's cliche. Yeah, completely agree. King books are incredible, and they always will be. Let's see. Ooh, Video Man, and we just got a new label in Norway releasing Norwegian classics that has been long gone, and also in limited cool editions with English subs. I would love to know the name of this company. By all means, yeah. If you don't mind, Video Man, and let us know in the comments, and perhaps a way to track them down. I would love to. In fact, if you don't mind, since we've emailed, go ahead and email that to me. Chester is a he. Awesome. Glad I got that right on the first guess. With a name like Chester, I'd hope so. Oh, it looks like Sardis is interested too. Yeah, I don't know many Norwegian classics, so I would love to hear some interest in that. All right, let's carry on to the next one. Got caught up with the comments. Okay, so this is a pretty cool one. Coming on November 15th on 4K and Blu-ray from Paramount as part of their Paramount Presents line, we are getting Blue Hawaii from 1961. This is pretty much the one of the better known Elvis films. I don't think it's his best film. I think it may be his best soundtrack in a film. Yeah, I think I can stand by that. I honestly didn't love Elvis as an actor, but his music is classic, obviously. And yeah, this is like one of the better gathering of musical tracks in a film to go for it. And it's a decent movie. I'm glad they're putting it out. I got to be honest, I'd kind of given up on Paramount Presents for a while, and I don't know if I will revisit them much, if at all. They kind of turned me off with the way that they were doing certain things, putting out lesser scans when they own all of the scans, and they were looking at possibly releasing them in higher quality elsewhere. So Paramount Presents is kind of, I don't know, it's middling for me. I would go look at that as a very like title by title label to look for. Let's see. Not a whole lot left, but we got some good ones for sure. One really good one that I'm excited about is November 8th. We are getting a 4K release of 8 Mile. We have had a lot of people that have laughed at the steelbook and said it looks like it's saying smile, which it clearly does a little bit. This is coming in a steelbook specifically through Groove Entertainment. And keep in mind, they are just the storefront for Universal themselves. So this is basically buying straight from the studio if you buy this from Groove. But this steelbook is not going to be available anywhere else. So if you are wanting the steelbook, you have to buy it specifically through Groove. This is coming in a standard 4K elsewhere, though, and I can't wait to see it. It did not have many details when this was announced, but I do think that there are some things out there now. In fact, let me throw this up into my bar here and see if they have any details with this. Nope, nothing detailed on the Groove site, sadly, but I do think that we got some more information on that. I'll take a look at it. Jeremy, that's going to be the grand finale tonight as Wally. Oh, Mitchell, that is, I just talked about this with somebody. I don't think it was you, which is hilarious. I swear, just recently I talked about this, that it would be great for the Hobbit cartoon to come from some of these other boutiques, like Deaf Crocodile. The work that they've done on those other animation titles, the one that they put out so far and one that they're about to put out, I would love to see them get to restore this, because they do incredible restoration work. I just simply cannot wait. John is here. What's going on, John? Just got out of Barbarian. Buckle up. I'm hoping that I can sort of trick my wife into going to that one tomorrow. We are supposed to be going to do a some odd like zombie scavenger hunt around Kansas City, and if we get done in enough time before the kids get out of school, I think that Barbarian might be our dessert after the scavenger hunt. Josephine says, I'd love to see a boutique label put out Adventures of Prince Ahmed. There's a lot of gold animated stuff. That one's from 1926. I thought it was a little, I was going to say younger, but I get a little slightly more recent than 1926. You wouldn't be much younger. Yeah, that interesting. Yeah, I'd like to see stuff like that too. I mean, all that stuff needs to get restored for sure. A really cool one for me. Don't know how many people have seen this because I did not get a lot of information from people that saw Bodies, Bodies, Bodies. This is actually getting a 4K release from A24 and Lionsgate, which is honestly really cool. I think that this was a really, really great movie. I appreciated this a lot more than most people, it sounded like. I got a video that I'm working on. Unfortunately, I don't know when it's going to come out because I have so many videos in the can already that have to come out soon. So I'm hoping this comes out next week or the following week. But yeah, there's just so much going on behind the scenes right now. I'm dying to talk more about this movie, and it is so damn good. But the big thing to keep in mind about this movie and anything else that you see her in is Rachel Sennett is a goddess that should be worshipped for sure. She is incredible in this and incredible in Shiva Baby. Eureka! They posted some announcements, and speaking of animation, we are getting Son of the White Mare from 1981. This is coming to their Masters of Cinema line, and this follows mythic folk heroes Tree Shaker, Stone Crumbler, and Iron Temperer as they descend into the perilous underworld on an epic quest to battle the forces of ancient evil and save the cosmos. This is a fantasy epic, and they call it a kaleidoscopic medley of groundbreaking animation styles, and it's coming to home video for the first time ever in the UK. That is really cool. It's got the 2019 4K restoration. This is going to include the director's debut feature, which is really cool. It's also the first ever Hungarian animated feature film, and there's also going to be some short films on here. This looks like a killer release. Got a nice little slipcase going on. So yeah, pretty great. Let's see. Ragnar says, hope everybody got their Mondo in. Yes, we just talked about that. Absolutely a great time to support them. They pretty much have to put HDR on that. The blacks in that film, the way that they, the lights are out for most of the film. So the black in the background has got to be this really great HDR. I'm sincerely hoping for it. John Gray, my friend. Criterion Channel recently screened an amazing animated film called The King and the Mockingbird. Interesting. I don't know that I know that one. Huh. I'm a stalker. Interesting. Eric watched Son of the White Mare on the Arbelis Blu-ray, and that is the one that Sardis is asking about. Yes. There is an earlier release here from Arbelis, or Arbelos, whatever it's called. Flickering. I'm glad that Bodies didn't get an A24 website exclusive. I'm so tired of those. Just put them out. Put them out widely. Everybody deserves an equal chance. Thank you so much, Video Manon. It is not Norwegian classics. All of this I mentioned now, but films I recommend. Oh, interesting. Lake by the Dead, Cold Prey, Headhunters, Fatso, and then I'm not going to say that last one correctly, so that Arbelos release of Son of the White Mare was amazing. I'll probably have to double dip. I mean, this release looks great, and the supplements kind of makes it look worth it to me, to be honest. Eureka, going back to Sammo Hung, we are getting The Dead and the Deadly from 1982. This is directed by Wu Ma, one of Hong Kong cinema's most beloved multi-hyphenates. Over a 50-year career, he was hugely successful with writing, directing, producing, and acting. And perhaps his best directorial effort And also starring Sammo Hung, The Dead and the Deadly is a must-see for both horror and action fans. Love me some Sammo Hung. I don't believe I've seen this one, though. Wuma also stars as a man who fakes his death in order to steal his family's funeral treasure. When the treasure is instead bequeathed to Ma's unborn son, his co-conspirators kill him for real this time. His vengeful spirit seeks out the help of his friend, played by Sammo Hung, and together they seek revenge on his murderers. I mean, this sounds super fun. Very, very interested in this one. And one of the reasons we get a brand new feature-length audio commentary by Frank Jang, friend of the channel, and Michael Worth. And then there's another audio commentary on here with Mike Leader and Arnie Venema, which, fantastic. They are incredible at what they do. And then we got an archival interview and Q&A with Sammo Hung from 2016 and a booklet. And they've been killing these Hong Kong releases, so I'm sure that this is going to be great. And Sean, the expert, says, The Dead and the Deadly is low on fight scenes, but it is loads of fun. That is great. Ragnar says, I miss those 88 American Shaw Brother releases. It sucks they dried... What do you mean they dried up? Are they out of print? I've not heard about any of those leaving already. Huh. Mitchell, I agree. He says, I wish Sammo would get on U.S. releases more. From what I hear, it's just so much more expensive to put those out in the U.S. I really hope that they're able to soon. Rumors a couple years ago were that The Thief and The Cobbler got a new scan, but unknown if it will get released. Interesting. Sardis, earliest animation is 1899 of Dancing Matchsticks. I mean, the fact that we've gotten some of those that are at... We got a couple that were around that age. I mean, we got Journey to the Moon or whatever, and that was around then. Is it called Journey to the Moon? I am blanking right now. But yeah, there's some really good, very old releases from around that time. Then we got a whole bunch of catalog 4K to talk about. So we are getting on November 15th, Wayne's World coming in 4K. Now, this is one that feels a little... This one feels a little shady to me. So Paramount is the one that owns Wayne's World, and they released the 30th anniversary Wayne's World Steelbook just earlier this year. They were absolutely either working on the restoration for this or planning on putting it out or whatever earlier this year. How do you not save that Steelbook and release it with this? They a lot of these places, obviously, they are in this for the money entirely. But come on, we should not be doing that to people in the same year, at least. Trip to the Moon. Thank you, Sardis. Appreciate that. Okay, Ragnar says they stopped after 10 releases. Yes, I know that they... I knew that they were running out, but I do think that hopefully we're going to get some more. Yeah, so this one... super awkward. And the main thing that really felt worst about this for me is that they are both called the 30th anniversary release. So if you know that you're going to celebrate the 30th anniversary of a genuinely beloved film, I mean, at least do something different with the 4K. You could have done Wayne's World 2 with it. You could have made it a 4K double pack. That would have been nice. I think that we could have done something. I don't know. We could have felt a little less weird about this. Yeah, Wayne's World. I'm glad it's getting a 4K. Genuinely one of my favorite movies. My sister and I talked about it while we were here. It's in one of our recent videos. But yeah, again, you just don't do that as a company. Like, I get the whole drive to make money, but I don't know. It's dirty. Next one, a whole bunch of catalog 4K. So we are getting A Christmas Story from 1983. We are getting National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. We are getting Elf. And we are getting The Polar Express. These are all coming in 4K on November 1st. Most of these covers are from the UK just because the US ones are not circulating widely yet. But the cool thing, The Polar Express is getting a rather nice Best Buy exclusive steelbook that looks like this. The art is beautiful on this steelbook, and I really, really hope that it's fairly priced because it looks really nice. I like the Polar Express, but I don't know. I feel like I'm falling out of love with it as time goes on. Some of the things that are animated kind of oddly in it just seem to not go well anymore. Especially when we're getting stuff that is like gorgeous to see. Some of the current animation is blowing my mind. I mean, even from a few years ago, like the Mulan, or not Mulan. What am I saying? Moana. The Moana release from Disney looks incredible. Some of these animated films are just absolutely blowing it out of the water. Love the way they're looking. Next up, we are getting the Rankin and Bass Classic Christmas Specials, all in 4K. Of course, these are Frosty the Snowman, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, and Santa Claus is Coming to Town. They are coming in this box set of all three, or you can buy them on their own. There does not appear to be any new features, which, for how old they are, I kind of get it. I do wish that some studios would put a little more of an effort into like the cultural impact that this had. That would make a cool featurette, and it didn't even, it wouldn't have to be long. Let's do like 20 minutes, something like that. I would love something that we can put more on these discs. It would just be nice. Let's see. Flickering says, starting with Elf, but will lament the lack of new extras. Completely agreed, especially on that one. It's so modern. You can give us something else for those. Jeff, yes, this is one of my biggest things. Polar Express has those dead Tom Hanks eyes in it. That, and then there are, I think there are like 3 or 4 scenes where there's obvious errors in the background, like somebody animated where they don't move through an entire scene, or like 15 characters moving at the exact same time. Those sorts of things always kill me with the Polar Express. Video Man says the Polar Express will look scary on 4K. And Dude McMahon, still no Alistair Sim Christmas Carol 4K. I don't think it's going to come before the end of this year, I got to be honest. And not that I do think it's very, very important that we get that one, but I feel like culturally that one has fallen in what people are looking at as relevant, which is really odd. I do think we'll get it hopefully next year. But I mean, we still got time to announce it for this year, so it's possible for sure. Those will look good on 4K. Frosty, turn them down for interview. That's funny. Ragnar, I don't understand why they do Best Buy exclusive when Best Buy barely carries any media at all. Well, nowadays, all of these Best Buy exclusive steelbooks, it is to get Best Buy to handle the warehousing and shipping them out so that it all falls on Best Buy. So they are, I was going to stand up for it, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense because Paramount is releasing wide steelbooks for all kinds of titles. They're doing The Godfather. They're doing the Indiana Jones titles. They are doing, I think Mean Girls was Paramount as well, and that's widest. The Friday the 13th 4K steelbook is widest, and they don't mind selling it to everyone. So yeah, some of these other studios, they could clearly be doing that. Let's see. Griff says the specials are classics, but they put them out every year. Agreed. I mean, I think it was just last year or the year before they put out a fancy looking steelbook for it, and they'll do the same thing next week. 4K steelbook of all of them, guaranteed. Let's see. Have a good night, Josephine. Glad you were here for a little bit. Is the Rudolph and Snowman 4K the old short classics? Well, I mean, they are the entire release, so I don't think they were even quite an hour long, and I think that the old supplements are all going to be in place on here, I think, especially because they're going to have the Blu-ray discs, but not entirely sure. All right, this is a big one though, right? This is a big one. So this kind of came out of nowhere. It showed up as a listing on Amazon, and it was empty, no picture, no titles or anything. And everybody went wild because the title was here, Sony Classics 30th Anniversary 4K Collection, with a price of $300 on Amazon and no other information. So pretty much every forum and film Twitter went wild. just kind of speculating about what could be coming. And this looks incredible. We are getting, let's see, their little copy that they wrote here. Celebrate the 30th anniversary of Sony Pictures Classics with this collection of 11 groundbreaking and award-winning films from world-renowned filmmakers, presented in 4K resolution and with insightful and informative accompanying special features. These cinematic achievements can now be experienced like never before. So, the titles that we are getting. SLC Punk from 1998, which, incredible movie. It never even made it to Blu-ray, so this is huge. Awesome. The Devil's Backbone, the Guillermo del Toro from 2001. This had a decent Criterion release on Blue. I'm glad it's going to make the 4K plunge as long as it looks good, and it's Sony, so it'll look great, I'm sure. But I think they could have maybe chose something different. The Philip Seymour Hoffman, I'm going to say it funny just because everybody always does. Synecdoche, Skinadeki. There's like 9 other ways that you always hear it said. New York, this is a masterpiece, and I am so stoked that this is a part of this. Orlando from 1992, another one that has been criminally overlooked as of late. Glad that's going to be a part of it. City of Lost Children, absolutely yes. From 1995, this is going to be remarkable in 4K. This one's a little odd, The Celluloid Closet. So this is a great documentary, but The Celluloid Closet is a gathering of films, and it's a documentary from all kinds of other stuff. So I want to know what they are doing to restore this one to make it look great in 4K. So I'm kind of a little leery on this one because they haven't said much about it, but we will see. Let's see. Jeff says, if you're going to do Christmas, how about a Black Christmas 4K? I think I just said that to John Peters this morning. Best Buy needs to ship steelbooks and boxes. Absolutely. Ragnar wants them to sell those with a little Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer figure. That would be great. That would be a great way to make a little more money off of them. Got the Scream release of Dog Soldiers on the 4K of Star Trek. Nice. Anything Charlie Kaufman is always fantastic. Agree, Jeremy. All right, carrying on from here. After The Celluloid Closet, Run Lola Run from 1998. Another incredible title. Glad this is coming out. We're going to skip the next one for a second and go to Volver. That is one that I honestly did not expect to see like this. That is from, oh gosh, what is his name? Pedro Almodovar. That's his name. This is one that I believe that they took back a lot of the rights from Criterion because they put out a lot of the titles. And now Sony themselves look to possibly be releasing a lot of his stuff on their own, and most likely in 4K, because he is one of their bigger named artists as of this point. They are doing pretty well. Almodovar is getting a lot more attention. After that, we got Still Alice, the classic, immediate classic from almost a decade ago. And then the most recent film in here, we got Call Me By Your Name, which will look, I bet that is going to look fabulous in 4K, but it will be really hard not to think about cannibalism while watching it. The other one that I wanted to throw in here, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, is coming as a part of this set. Now, to me, this seems like this was going to be a 10-film set, and then Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon had previously had a 4K release from Sony, but it didn't have any Atmos or Dolby Vision. So this is getting a proper release now with a brand new 4K disc with Atmos and Dolby Vision added, and it is going to look incredible with this 11 disc, well, not 11 disc, but 11 film set. I am thinking that the Amazon price is probably going to fall to about $200. Now, the reason I'm landing on that is because Sony is also the company that has been putting out the Columbia Classics collections. This is slightly smaller, but it has almost twice as many films. The third volume of Columbia Classics right now is $108, and it has not even released yet. So if that has 6 films, 108 times 2, 216, this has one less film. I think it's going to end up about $199. Now, is that worth this giant set? Honestly, the fact that they are adding extras to a lot of these, and it's got a really nice packaging, it's got a nice book, and Sony, literally the best studio in 4K restorations, I kind of think it's worth it. I think that this is one that is going to do, I won't say very well for them. I think that it'll sell decently to collectors and real, physical media diehards, the people that are really going to go all into these. But a lot of these are super mainstream films, and I don't know. It's a lot to get 11 films at once. And if you're not super interested in even 4 of them, it might kind of price you out of wanting it. On the other hand, this is also a really kind of odd, eclectic mix of films. The only reason these are packaged together is because they are all under the Sony Pictures Classics line. Now, that line has only been around for 30 years as of this point. So they called this the 30th anniversary 4K collection. But does that mean we're not going to get any more of these? Because they can't sell another version of this next November and say, this is the 31st anniversary collection. That would be super clunky and weird. They also can't just say, this is the 30th anniversary collection, volume 2. So I don't know. This one is odd to me. I do hope they keep going with the Columbia Classics, but I'm curious what this means for them with this. So we'll see. Either way, this looks incredible. Going to be a wonderful release, November 22nd, right in time for Christmas stuff. Just looks fantastic, to be honest. November 15th, from Kino, we are getting the Valachi Papers. This is 1972, Charles Bronson joint, and it is going to include an audio commentary by Paul Talbot, who did the Bronson's Loose books. This is the alternate artwork that they got for this one. Glad they got the alternate. They can't always do that, but licensing will let them do that this time. Let's see. Jeff says, eclectic can be good, but sometimes it has a downside. I agree. I completely understand that. Dead Sea Life says, in 2052, we'll get a volume 2, which means it'll be, the 60th anniversary collection? Yikes. Yeah, that would be rough. Anthony Listro loves him some Charles Bronson. And a wonderful Kino slipcover, because I know Anthony sure loves his high-quality slipcovers. We were talking about that earlier today. Australia in the house. We were talking earlier about Imprint, but the other major boutique from Australia is easily Umbrella Entertainment. Now, this is one that seems to be a little divisive for people. The artwork on this is a little odd. We are getting Wrong Turn from 2003. Odd packaging, too. We got the original Wrong Turn 35mm film frame coming with this. 8 custom lobby cards, a poster, and then custom O-ring art, which is just a fancy word for slipcover. But you can only get those things if you order directly from Umbrella. Now, this is the art up close and the back of that slipcover. But if you don't order from them directly, this is what you're going to get. As far as features, this is getting a new video essay by Lee Gambin, and then a audio commentary the other new thing is they are getting a rural horror trailer compilation, which interesting. I'm kind of interested in seeing that, but everything else is the same as the last release. So this is not a new scan, not many new features. It does have 2, and one of them is decent in the form of the essay. I'll hold out any judgment on the trailer compilation until we get some details. But this is pissing a lot of people off because, yeah, not much new on there, and I get it. The fact that it's still the old scan, that's what turns me away primarily from this. But it does have a lot of features on it from the old release, so if you don't have it, this is a great way to dive in. And then, November 2nd from Umbrella, they are also putting out The Limey. Now, unfortunately, if you are a quality snob, this is only coming out in Blu-ray from Umbrella. This is getting a 4K release in the US from, I think it's Lionsgate. And that's about to be dropping like at the end of this month or early next month. And I can understand not wanting to dive into this when you can get the 4K here. This is probably the exact same scan, just on a Blu-ray disc. And if you order from Umbrella, again, you get the custom slipcover on this. And as far as new features, we got some more on this one. We got the evolution of the British gangster on screen. That's by Andrew Nett. We get a Q&A with Steven Soderbergh and some of the stars of the film from 2019. And then a British gangster trailer compilation. Cool that they're doing that on a couple of the releases this month. For those that have never seen The Limey, this movie is maybe Soderbergh's masterpiece. Maybe. This is an incredible film. Soderbergh has done so many great films that it's hard to pick one, but this might be his absolute best, for sure. Terry says, hope the Sony Pictures Classics box will stick around for a bit full on the box set front. Oh yeah, there's a lot coming from October to December. It's a pretty wild year. Ozploitation Classics from Umbrella. They are giving us a double feature in November. We are getting Night of Fear from 1973. And then flip to the other art. We are getting Inn of the Damned from 1975. Now, their Ozploitation Classics line, this is my favorite line from Umbrella. I think that they really go ham on these titles specifically because they're Australian titles and they're an Australian company, so they really put the love into it. This is getting quite a bit of new features, and I don't remember seeing any releases for this previously. It probably had one in other regions, but I for sure have never seen either of these films. Ozploitation was a big blind spot for me before the last few years, and this line specifically through Umbrella has given us some of the best of the best. So absolutely, if you're into it, I would look at a lot of what they put out on this line. It's great stuff. Sean says, trying to keep with everyone else for all of the ordering he's doing. Don't do that. You'll get yourself in some trouble. All right. And then Umbrella is putting out Amores Perros. Man, I'm very white. I went to say it Spanish and I just can't. This is the film from 2000, and this is coming as part of their World Cinema line. Really good stuff on that specific line from them as well. This one, unfortunately, doesn't seem to be bringing anything new to the table. I believe this had I think this had an original release from Criterion, if I remember right. Not too sure on that one. I think I'm right. Anyway, somebody will confirm in the comments there. Video Manon wants to know if they will release Das Hitler Killers on the Ozploitation Classics. I mean, I don't see them shying away from it just because of the title or anything. Great flick, horrible cover. Agreed. This is not a great cover for this. Would love the day bill for the drive-in double feature, but happy to pick up the blue. It's a nice looking poster. I'm going to go back to that real quick because the colors there, it is so 1970s that I absolutely would love to hang that, get that framed. Oh, gorgeous. Okay. So we are at our last announcement, and this is the big one. WALL-E. Pixar's WALL-E is coming on November 22nd on 4K UHD from Criterion. So this is getting a bunch of new features, which makes it worth buying for a lot of people, especially if you're animation nerds. Some of the stuff that they go into detail here sounds fantastic, like the new programs on Stanton cinematic influences and production designer Ralph Eggleston's color scripts, tour of the Pixar Living Archive with Stanton, behind the scenes look at the making of the film. This sounds really cool. The Pixar Story from 2007, a documentary by Leslie Iwerks, plus 12 plus documentaries exploring the film's production and the animation that's in that. A lot of other stuff. A lot of this we had gotten on previous releases, but a lot of it we hadn't. And it's going to be nice to get it all in one package. But the big question here is, where did this come from? This is a Disney/Pixar film from 2007, right? 2008. And that could have implications. It could not have implications. Now, I will say, this is one that they are not just going to have a one-off for this. The biggest reveal to me, and let me see if I can pull it up just so I can show that I'm not speaking out of the side of my lip for the record. This is the email from Criterion today, and I'm going to enlarge it to show. I think I can do that. One specific thing. So it says, let me pull this down. We're proud to, dang it. Okay. We're proud to announce our first collaboration, scrolling, with Disney and Pixar, WALL-E. So the first thing they say is our first collaboration with Disney and Pixar. That is a big deal. Disney does not let out titles like this ever. So that is kind of a big deal and sent a lot of people reeling today. There's a lot of, I wonder if they're going to be able to do the Star Wars original trilogy without all the added effects. I even saw somebody today say, obviously there's been a lot of talk of Song of the South, but there's been a lot of talk of like the black hole, which is a big one. But I mean, I don't know. To me, WALL-E, it does kind of fit the old Criterion because it's that great of a movie. It's that existential. It's that deep and philosophical, and it's so well made. It is a gorgeous piece of animation, incredibly moving story through a couple robots that don't even truly speak. And I love that. I love that. But it's already been released on 4K. And now I got to know, because they don't have any details anywhere, is this getting a 4K scan brand new from Criterion? Because it already came out on 4K. I don't need the exact same scan. I don't need the Disney Atmos that they put on all of their titles and do that because it sounds like crap. The Disney 4K, it looks pretty good already. I don't know that we necessarily need this from Criterion, but if it does mean other things, that is very exciting. Very exciting. I guarantee there's a lot of comments. So let's take a look at this. Zach says Cars 2 on Criterion when. If they don't do Ratatouille next, I'm going to get violent. Ratatouille is top 5 Pixar films for me, but it is visually one of the most stunning pieces of animation ever. Antoine, thank you for confirming Criterion did that. Does it even say Disney on anything? The email. That was the big thing for me. And what's crazy, look at this again. When is the last time that you saw a Disney or Pixar release of something like WALL-E and there is no Disney or Pixar branding on the front of this at all? I don't remember the last time I did not see something that said Disney's WALL-E or Disney and Pixar's WALL-E. That, to me, is pretty crazy that they're willing to not have that on there, considering how Disney is. Max, this is exactly it. It's not just WALL-E, it's the implications. You got to go with the It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia reference there. Video Man, and completely agree. WALL-E is great, but it's already out on 4K, and it's a bit weird. I don't know if this is a one-off, only Pixar or what. I hope it means Disney is open to leasing out their other titles. So, the most common reaction to this today. With this, if they are able to open the vaults, we can finally get a straight story from David Lynch on Criterion because of Disney. We'll see. Max is the one that made the joke earlier about maybe we can get a full David Lynch 4K Criterion box set, which would be very expensive. Dead Sea Life. Yes, Disney does own Tim Burton's Ed Wood. Sardis says, so Disney is buying Criterion. They are not, at least that we know of. That would be awful. Let's see. 4K Return to Oz and all cuts of Watcher in the Woods. Oh, gosh. This is one that I would be excited about. Dick Tracy and the Rocketeer 4K, or We Riot. I would adore Dick Tracy on 4K. Let's see. The Rescuers 4K, uncut and uncensored, if only. Dude says, I don't know, I'm getting on Armageddon and the rock vibe from this and the Wally announcement. Hopefully it does open some doors. We need Midnight Madness. I get that, but it's not quite the same. Spaghetti says, I think they might do some Wonderful World of Color Disney vignettes and stuff. That would be great. Let's see. Would they do Mary Poppins and films like that? I mean, again, they got 4Ks already, so possibly. Last thing to go over, if you haven't, let me zoom out here. If you haven't given it a watch yet, I posted the disconnected October watch list. The whole calendar is up. I got a link to the picture in this post and everything. I think it's a really great eclectic mix, and the list is actually right here if you want to take a look at it. I love doing these. I've done these, I think, 3 or 4 years in a row now, and this one's pretty wild. So take a look at that video and let's talk about it. Put it in the comments if you're planning on watching along. I'd certainly want to know about it. Let's see. Next week, because we are already done with the announcements, next week, the Blu-ray release calendar. This is for September 13th. A lot of people have these in already. Platoon on 4K, which unfortunately looks DNR to all hell from what all of the screen caps show. The Fog in 4K, which looks great and better than the Studio Canal. Real Genius in 4K finally coming to our hands. Friday the 13th in 4K, which looks worse than the Screen Factory Blu-ray, it looks like. Cool World from Shout Select. Meaning of Life from Monty Python is coming in 4K. Fatal Attraction 4K from Paramount Presents, or just Paramount. Elvis 4K, Lightyear 4K, The Amusement Park, Drive in 4K from 88 Films. There is a lot this week. Massacre at Central High, Standard, Evil Dead Trap 2 from Unearthed, some Full Moon, Terror Squad coming. I think that's Code Red. History of Horror. I think that's season 3. Yeah, season 3. And Tropic Thunder. That's coming. That's a good one. Slaughter Day from Visual Vengeance. Tin Can from Epic Pictures or Dread, whatever. Lots of really great stuff. Yeah. Looks great. The last thing I will share, because I'm going to cut out early tonight. I appreciate everybody hanging out tonight. This is what is coming up next for the channel. This is tomorrow. An interview with the amazing Kat Ellinger. Please check in. This will be up about noon Eastern time tomorrow. And I hope you guys watch and, yeah, check it out. In the meantime, like I always say, for the patrons, thank you for supporting and everything. And the last thing from one collector to all of you. I know it's short tonight. We'll see you next time. Have a good week.